Good morning. Welcome to the community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed. Today is the 11th of June in the year 2026, and we are glad you're here today. We're going to be having a guest join us who is a judge. So, I've been waiting all morning to say, "Here come the judge. Here come the judge." Some of y'all might remember that song. Anyway, my name is Gregory Sneed, President and CEO of Lifesaver Financial Services. I help my clients to keep more of the money that they make and feel better about their money. Now it's my pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage our queen of the community briefing, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Glad to have you. Ooh, we have Robin today. Hey, Robin.
Hey guys,
Um,
I'm sorry I'm a little late.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We I am Crystal Mitchell, co-director of Recycling Black Dollars and business coach and consultant in my own practice, as well as the inspiration behind this platform, a wonderful platform that brings you those in our community that are doing incredible work here in our community, and we like introducing you to them, our leaders and our stakeholders, and hope you guys are reaching out to them and creating relationships of your own as well. Everyone knows why this platform was started, but ultimately, this is what we do now. I want to thank all of our sponsors, and it is sponsored and supported by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA. And Miss Sarah's here with us today, and we thank everyone for joining us. And our monetary sponsors are Los Angeles LDC Community Development Financial Advisors and Southern California Edison PCR, and as well as Wells Fargo Bank and SoCal Gas. And so with that, we have a fantastic team. You've met myself, you've met Greg, and Mr. Stephen Turner, who's the producer, and Ms. Robin Billups. She is back. And so I'm going to turn that part over to her. But welcome, guys. And we have an incredible guest today. Hopefully, you all voted for her. I did. And so she's going to tell you all about that. And I love her website. It says she is the people's dream judge. I love that. I think that was absolutely awesome. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robin.
Greetings, everybody. So glad to be here again. Robin Billups with the Billups Group. I want to thank everybody who went out to vote. I want to thank everybody who took the time to have their voice heard because they went to the polls, but we're not done. We still have a lot to do. We don't want to be voting with our emotions. We want to be voting to protect democracy. So I'm delighted to have this candidate, this judge on our show today who can also bring home the point that the only way we get representation is that we vote people in who have our best interests at heart. So I'm going to kick it over to Greg so we can get started. But I will tell you guys that last week I visited the Obama Library. It is something to see. It is something to experience. Community accessibility and being folks of color, we are in that place from the moment you walk onto the ground until every piece of the facilities that are there. It's so well thought out. So we'll get a chance to talk about that at another time. But suffice it to say, register, get their mailing list, and get on their newsletter mailing list and get yourself to Chicago because this is you. There are Kleenex boxes located strategically throughout the library because people start to break down from the fact that one, the people of color are proud. The white people are starting to look at, damn, we messed up.
That'll be
So,
that'll be
so,
the
so,
day.
yeah, really, right. But yeah, well, that day, because there were certain individuals that were there, right? It takes a certain individual to have that level of compassion and empathy. But it really illuminates what America can be and what America can become if we come together as community. So again, Greg, kicking it over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, welcome back, everybody. And so, our guest today is, I teasingly said, this may predate some of you, but there was a song, Here Come the Judge. And I think that was Pigmeat Markham. If I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. So it was a funny song. Anyway, we have a judge amongst our ranks, and I will thank is I don't see, well, Renee's here, but Emma. So for many years, I will say that we do some research on the voting, and then when it came to the judge, you didn't recognize any of the names. You just like checking off boxes, and okay, yeah, that might be somebody of color, that, but don't know, and um, and so we started having forums. I guess this is what, about 3 or 4 years ago, and actually brought judges in. So we were hearing from them, doing some research, on the cases and who was friendly to people of color, who was not, and so that's an important part of it. And so I know that our guest was on the ballot this past couple of weeks. And we just get some finalization. So understand that you are sort of tied or with their with coming in second and running neck and neck with the other person. So we were just getting confirmation that that's a runoff, and I guess that will happen in November. So congratulations. So our guest today is Rhonda Antoinette Haymon, and she says here that she started off with a battle early in her infancy, and a battle with pneumonia, and had to fight that off, and she's been fighting ever since. She attended Tuskegee University with a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Social Work, and also got her Doctor of Law, JD, from Willamette University College of Law, and she is now a attorney at the Los Angeles County Public Defender's Office. So bravo there. And she's working to defend those. Oftentimes in the public defender's office, you're looking to defend those who can't afford an attorney, and so one is appointed for them, and so they help to instill justice and make sure that that person gets justice. So, without further delay, because there's a lot here that I could go through, but usually it's best that they speak for themselves. So I'll say it one more time, be the last time. Please welcome Rhonda Haymon, and here come the
I'm
judge.
the judge.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm excited because you're here,
Mhm.
because I'm Rhonda Haymon and I'm in the fight within 2% of overtaking my opponent. And but we will be in a runoff. And one of the things as to what brought me to running for judge is over 26 years as a deputy public defender. Come on, we've all heard the rumors of what a deputy public defender is. But I've had 26 years of eyewitness information. And I'll start out by saying I graduated number one in my law school class, being the only Black woman present in my law school when I graduated. And I say that is that I was being prepared to be the only one.
Mhm.
So over the last years as being a deputy public defender, I'm also an adjunct professor of law at Southwestern Law School. I teach criminal procedure and litigation. I obtained the job at the law school. So it's a practical class and a substantive class, because students saw me in a jury trial where my client was facing life. And it was a battle for justice, literally. And in that case, my client was accused of attempted murder. He was looking at 55 years to life, meaning the minimum he would serve if convicted would be 55 years. First time he would be eligible for parole. And my client was intersex and presented as a man. But the district attorney which most people used to call, which we don't use the terminology anymore, a hermaphrodite, intersex. But the district attorney was attempting to bring in things that were associated with being homophobic and wanted to show a video of my client masturbating to prove that he was a woman. So my job in the courtroom has been to stand against racism, to stand against any of those things that do not allow equal access to justice for all. And you know what has happened? I've made some enemies because I've been successful at doing it. That client is home now with his family because he actually acted in self-defense and used the complaining witness's gun against the complaining witness. It was his gun that he was attempting to use on my client. So bringing all that to say is that judges are extremely important. We've seen right now with the Voting Rights Act of 1965, they dwindled down to Section 2 and said, no, but you have Section 5 still. You won't have to prove direct, overt racism. You still have that section. But let me tell you why the judges matter, and it starts now at your state level. Because our Chief Justice, this wasn't his first time trying to dismantle the Voting Rights Act. As a young lawyer, he fought vigorously against the Voting Rights Act, only to carry out his mission as our Chief Justice. But I look at the dissenting justices, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She started out as a federal public defender. And she was amongst the dissenting opinions. So one of the things that we need are strong people who are connected with the community to become judges of our community. The person I'm running against lives in Orange County because little do you know that judges are amongst the few persons who can run for an elected position and not live in the county. Now, I'm sure all of you are aware of the Rodney King civil unrest and the businesses that were destroyed. Now, at that time, it was supposed to be that quote unquote Black-owned businesses were to be saved, but there were burning down of businesses. I was at McDonald's working on Rosecrans and Central when the Kenny's next door began to burn and then impacted the McDonald's that was supposedly Black-owned. So the decisions in the courtroom that allowed the officers to not be convicted, the decisions were made by a judge who was not a part of our community. And look what that unrest caused our community. So that's why it's extremely important that we take an active role in the judges that we choose for our community. I have tried over 100 jury trials to success. I've lost 4 of those trials. And I've had a case overturned on appeal for the judge keeping out evidence that I said should be admitted. And what happens for the defense attorney is there's a question of, well, will you let everyone loose? Will you let everyone go? Will you be able to be fair? I'm the only person in the room that's constitutionally required to be there. The case called Gideon says that I must be in there to safeguard people's rights. And I love it when people say that it is for the indigent. I represent the indigent. But you don't know how many people I have represented who may be going through a divorce. And because their spouse, or soon to be former spouse, wants to gain advantage in the family law court, they file domestic violence abuse charges in the criminal court. And most people, I'm telling you now, cannot afford a good attorney. So they end up with the public defender. And because I've been so successful, currently I have a judge campaigning against me in open court, endorsing my opponent because she's a prosecutor She's not from our community. And guess what? As I speak to you today, in the courthouse that I'm assigned to, which is the airport court, there's not one Latino judge on the bench in felony trials, and there is not one Black judge in the building. Yet I have someone campaigning against my candidacy, and that's because I'm strong. And I have witnessed enough to know what it means to be fair and how fairness has our community grow. And I'm not just talking about trial success. I'm talking about linking my clients to services. Right now, I have a DA fighting me in court. That's why I was a little late, because I want to send my client to an apprenticeship program where he's going to be paid to be in that program. And then he becomes a union member. He's accused of a robbery. He tried to take a backpack from someone. They want him to go to prison for 4 years. I said, so when he gets out in 4 years, what do we do? What do we do? He can always go to prison. Prison's always the option. Let's try sending him through this program that has been successful for other people, putting money in his pocket. And he'll start off $25 an hour learning the task of being a carpenter. Then he'll become a union member. And then from being a union member, they will immediately employ him. And that program has been highly successful. They have been a second chance program that has been completely accessible. But no, we have old mentality, because the DA that's in the courtroom with me also lives in Orange County. So the decisions that he makes in the courtroom don't have a direct impact against him. So that's why we have to be involved in our judges, and a judge that has a vision based on my experience with what works. Because my clients, they have my cell phone number for 26 years. When I tell you my clients are successful in the program, because I want them to win and I want our community to win. And how we begin that process is by participating in who these judges are, and not just voting on somebody because they've been a prosecutor for X amount of time. Number one is, do they live in our community? Number two, what are their values? And number three, I'm going to tell you, there's an outright desire to not have Black judges on the bench. And I'm battling that war. I am the most qualified of every candidate that ran for judge. Yet I have systematic attempts to keep me locked out of becoming a judge. And that's why I need you, so that we can make the differences in these courthouses. We have Torrance Court, not one Black judge on the bench. Why is that acceptable? We have the power to change that, and the change is now. And I'm the person to do it, because I'm standing up against this judge who believes she can use her bench as a catalyst to campaign against me. I've reported her to the Judicial Council. And I'm going to make sure that no other Black woman who is strong running for judge ever has this type of opposition again. So I'm a change agent, and that is why I am the people's dream judge.
Amen. Amen. We should have had you on a month ago before the elections.
That would have
Oh,
made
we have
that vote
November.
easier.
We got work to do,
Right?
because there's no way I should be trailing behind this lady by
Yeah.
32%. Period.
Right.
She's been completely unethical the whole time because her merit doesn't match up to mine. So we have got to, and she thinks she can get away with it because I'm a Black woman. And we just have to have, especially our Latino community. I've represented so many Latinos and Black people who are unseen and unheard, and I've been the one making their voices heard in the courtroom. We have to come together. And justice works best when we all, no matter what ethnicity you are, we come together for one thing, and that's for progress and justice throughout our community of Los Angeles County. And by the way, I graduated from Gardena High School. So I am a native
So
to Los Angeles.
I was just about to go there. So because we're gonna go full circle. So
Okay.
we didn't get a chance to find out,
Who you
the
are.
origin of where you're from. I know you went to Tuskegee, but I don't hear any Southern twang, so I'm not. Doesn't sound like you're from Alabama. Where did you grow up? You got into science and mathematics and social work, and then something changed the track to go into the to be an attorney or doctor of law, get your JD, and then also to go into a judge. So take us back to where did you grow up? You said you went to Gardena High School, so it sounds like you're a native of LA County or
I am.
Southern California. And take us through that journey, and then and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So I'm going to be the judge where the community knows where I live because I'm going to have nothing to hide. So I'm born and raised in Gardena. And so I attended Gardena High School, cheerleading, captain of the cheerleading team. And one of the places that I found valuable in attending Gardena High School was the National Forensic League, which spoke to you could have oratorical interpretation, orator, everything. And I was state champion for impromptu speaking, which has helped sustain me as a criminal defense attorney. My parents celebrated 60 years of marriage in October. They are from Arkansas. So I
I
always
love it.
tell people that I am a city girl, but with Southern roots.
Southern roots. Yes.
Yes. And so my family settled in Compton, while my father went off and to go back to the Navy, where he flew rescue missions as a medic in Vietnam. So, courage is in my fiber. And I come from a union family. My father was the first Black man to become a maintenance supervisor at Chevron Refinery. And my mother worked for Vaughn's uh, grocery store for 33 years. They both used the union. Those jobs stabilized our family. So I understand coming from a union family, based in the community, and those jobs helped me go to Tuskegee, and then I obtained a scholarship to Willamette College of Law. So I want to make sure that you guys have a chance to ask me questions because I know a lot of people have questions about the judges. And the reason why I decided to become a judge is because a judge held me in contempt. She held me in contempt purely because I was doing too well for my clients. And she wanted to stop me. So I ran against her in 2024. And I did very well. But that was my catalyst. The bench has become too unbalanced. It's made up of 70 to 80% of prosecutors. And the thing about being a defense attorney is that I have to learn to work within the law, but still effectuate change. And that requires you to be a visionary. And I've been able to do that. And I can do it on the bench and bridge the gap between the court and the community. Because we see that when things happen, look at Carmelo Anthony now. That is all over the news now. So these decisions that take place in the courtroom, they spill out to our communities and they impact us. And if people believe in the court more and that they can get a fair shake, think about it when you walk into a courtroom and no one looks like you. Already there's an appearance of impropriety. So we have to bring back the faith to the court by putting people on the bench who do reflect our community and who do relate to the people. And that's me. And I've been using this campaign. My phone number is on every piece of literature that I pass out because I'm here to edify people about the courts, about judges, what is actually happening in the courtroom, and what we can do to change it.
Judge Haymon,
Well, I'm
part
not
of
a
it.
judge yet. I'm an attorney
No,
running for
don't tell the Lord how to bless us.
Okay.
We have to
Yes, ma'am.
manifest this. We have to manifest this.
Oh, yes.
A future Judge Haymon.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the sheer numbers. Like you said, you're 32% behind in Orange County.
No, not 32%. 2%.
Excuse me. I love that.
2% too
But
many
that
though.
2% is big. That 2% is big
It's
because it makes
32,000.
Yes,
So
32,000 individuals. So how do we get 35,000 individuals to show up at the polls? I think that this platform coming on here on Community Briefing, we post this on Facebook. We will certainly be pushing and supporting what you're doing, but give us some tactics because again, we do have some people who've dealt with the court system, who've dealt with attorneys, who've dealt with judges, and they're so jaded, but they don't understand you got to fall forward. So let's talk about how do we help these people who need to show up to the polls for their future equitable judgment. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I believe first things first, within your own organizations, within your neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
there's my phone number. I don't know, I'm sure several people have my phone number, but if you don't, please obtain it. First thing is, it's nothing better than contact with the person, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we have 5 months. And let me say this is unprecedented, the amount of votes that we have received. I'm saying we because this is our
Yes. Yes.
election.
Yes.
This is our
Yes.
election. This is unprecedented, the amount of votes for a deputy public defender to receive. So we
Mm-hmm.
know we have more work to do. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just each person bring 5 people, guaranteeing. So this is a community-based um,
Campaign.
strategic event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be working on people who can endorse us, donations, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
county-wide election. The
Mm-hmm.
hardest thing is getting people to donate to the campaign. The campaign has spent an exorbitant amount of money. Most of it has come from me. I am a deputy public defender, though, so that's
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah.
So we've got to donate to the campaigns that we care about. We'll give money to the assembly person, the governor, but not the judge who
Mm-hmm.
impacts whether you get a
Adjudication.
contract, whether you're able to technically, even though sometimes we don't think about it, for businesses with regard to employees and disputes, with regard to the type of businesses that we want in our communities. Judge plays a major role in that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get people actively involved. You don't know how many people tell me, oh, I don't even fill that portion out. Well, you know what I say to that person? So if you encounter people like that, we'll start with one person that I can tell you about. Let's start there and see where it goes because sometimes you have to bring people slowly to the process
Mm-hmm.
and give them my number
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
we have to donate to the campaign so that I can commercialize what I'm doing in the community, how judges impact the community. But I think the 1965 Voting Rights Act had an impact on people that's making some people wake up, but we have to get the youth involved
Yes.
at 18 to 35.
That was my next point. That was going to be my next sector. That to me, let's talk a little bit about how social media can support what you want to get done. Because I think that that's where they get their information. That's where they spend most of their time. What does your social media team look like or campaign look like, and how are you pushing that?
Well, I have the most popular social media. I even have the judges watching it. I'm the first to bring in an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And then people follow. I got to bring in these influencers. So if
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
influencers who may be thinking about something totally different, we have to. So that's how we have to get to the youth. My entire social media is not geared towards us. It's geared towards that 18 and 35. Or I see some people who are younger than that, but it's geared towards them to get them engaged, even down to the music that I'm using to keep them
Mm-hmm.
interested so that they can vote while still maintaining my professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the
Mm-hmm.
key, getting them engaged through social media. So that's why I brought in Legally Hype AB, who actually, come to find out, was my law student.
Wow.
Was my law
Wow.
student. And
Wow.
those videos garnered 15,000, 10,000. By the time election day came, I had over 100,000 people who had interacted with my page. But I'm paying
Mhm,
those social media people, and that's not going to stop. So we have to
mhm,
have donations to the campaign, and each person who knows someone we could use the exposure because we can do in-kind services. Doesn't
mhm,
necessarily have to be monetary, but in-kind services that we report that help the campaign get out to, what is it? Technically, there are 5.7 million registered voters.
mhm,
So the goal is how do we track down that number is bringing in new people who would never think about voting because they have a judge that's different, that's
mhm,
willing to be courageous and stand up for the community and for the truth and for justice.
mhm. Talk to us a little bit about the kind of support you're getting from other judges.
Well, the people who have been elected before me, I have
Hmm.
that is Judge Holly Hancock, that is Judge Erica Wiley, Judge Turner. You know, judges can be appointed or elected. And I do have also Judge Titus. So they have been very instrumental with helping me with my campaign, most definitely. So, but they're still working. So, yes, but they've been instrumental with support and rallying people to come out and vote. But we've got to engage that new voter who would not think about registering, but for knowing that there's going to be change impacted in their community. Because, I may not be the judge presiding in their case, but I can be in the lunchroom with the judge. So
Yes.
when the judge who told my client she was a bad mother, having spent 5 seconds with her, and let the colleague come back and say, "Yeah, I just told this person they were a bad mother," I would wow, that's because judges are independent. But that's interesting. Why would you make that comment? I don't think we spend enough time with people to determine that in these criminal proceedings. Just placing thought into the mind of your colleagues that maybe the way they've been behaving and assessing people is not conducive for growth. Because what did that comment get her? Did that empower the client to do better than what she was doing? So there's a process here.
Yeah.
And that's to me, you're encouraging her to go out and do more since you think she's bad already. So there's a philosophy. And that's where my social work comes in, with knowing how to interact with people.
Mhm.
And then the scientific side of me is the mathematics. So it's a science and the heart all coming together in a big explosion for justice. So we got to get
So
people out.
you went to Tuskegee, you were at Southwest Law School. Talk to us about the kind of support that those spaces are creating for you, because I know here in Southern California, having sponsored the King Day breakfast for many years when I worked for U.S. Bank, Tuskegee got a huge alumni association here in Southern California.
Yes, so I did have contact with them, and they're running me on their social media. And there were some members who were handing out flyers and things
Mhm.
on my behalf. And we're going to come back together. I'm going to come back with them, meet and network so we can expand upon our coverage. And the law school is interesting because my opponent cannot touch my merit. They've contacted the law school indicating that I'm anti-Semitic to try to
Yep.
impact
Throwing
the,
out the buzzwords, right?
yes, to
The
try to
political buzzwords.
impact the primary, but it did not work.
Hmm. Hmm.
It all
Hmm.
stems from the judge who's campaigning against me in court because she wants her DA colleague to become a judge so we can have more of the same
Hmm.
in the
So
courthouse.
if she is a judge and she's campaigning for her DA bestie, talk to us about what you got lined up. You know, you got the Tuskegee alumni, you have your social work experience, you have your courtroom experience. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I also have the public defender's office.
That's it.
Yes, the public defender's office. And it really, because, LA, we have Lancaster, we have Palmdale, we have all of these areas that we need to tap into. So I absolutely have to expand my reach to win
Hmm.
this election.
Hmm.
Because although
Hmm.
it's a nonpartisan race,
Hmm.
my opponent was on the GOP list. So she double dipped. So she's a Republican um, endorsed person, recommended person.
Hmm.
And she just happens to be the endorsed person for the Democratic Party, by way of which I was the originally endorsed person. And she had her judge friend interfere, and the party changed the endorsement to her.
Hmm. Interesting.
So,
Very interesting.
but the beautiful thing is that the numbers were amazing to be running against the democratically endorsed candidate. We just have to expand our reach and get people more involved in voting for these judges. And when we look at the numbers of the votes, the key is that my race and Tal Valbueno's race had the most votes. So I don't know if you guys paid attention, but over the weekend, there were 50,000 on one day, 56,000 on the next day, 44,000, 69,000, all bringing and cutting her lead in less than half. So we are on the road towards bringing home the victory for November, but we've got to each possibly band together. I need some volunteers to help me use networks to reach out to get people engaged in this for the win. I've had 3 family members contact me for their family members who are serving life without the possibility of parole, one serving life and one serving, I think, 75 years to life, where Ms. Scobati has had them convicted. They actually have helped me gain access to voters, and they indicate that she engaged in some unethical behavior. And I never discussed with them what she has done to me, but I can believe it because of the tactics that they have engaged in to win this election, because they know that I'm strong and that when I go to the bench, I am going to effectuate change, because I've done it in courthouses. I've done it in the Torrance courthouse. I've done it here in the airport court, where I've literally changed how courts are operating because they're operating outside of constitutional law.
Excellent. Excellent. We're going to open it up for questions because I know Renee got one. Rhonda, we have what we call our usual suspects. They're here every week. They literally help us with this podcast, and these are very bright individuals. Emma is our political correspondent, and Renee is our community correspondent. So I'm going to ask them. And Joseph, again, these are individuals who are here. Jasmine, they are here every week. Russell's become a
And
regular.
Roz is there too.
I was
Roz is
getting ready to
there
say
too.
Roz and Mark.
They
So
don't leave
these
her
are
out.
faces that you see in Charlene, Miss Jackson. So these people that you see here are with us every week. The Lord sends because they believe in the information that we're looking to impart. And to your point, the more that are aware of who you are and what you're doing, the better off we are to be able to support what you're trying to do. Renee,
She
it
always,
ain't your turn, Roz.
I got it. She
You
always
next, yes,
calls me
ma'am.
when I have something on the tip of my tongue. So, Rhonda, for you, I live in Orange County. How can I help you here? I have some influential friends. I don't know where they're going politically, but the woman that runs this place that I know of, her business, she has over 10,000 followers on her social media. And she is the city of Orange, as far as she said.
Okay.
No, nothing like Orange or something is her strategy. And so I want to get some ideas about that. And I also have family in Palmdale and Lancaster. So those are the areas that I'm interested in helping you in.
Thank you. So first things first, I forgot to tell you guys, I was in Orange County first as a deputy public defender for 3 years. They trained me how to be a lawyer. It was an excellent training. So one of the things is absolutely, because the beautiful thing about social media with regard to the social media influencer is that I have a connection, because that's where I began my journey as an attorney. And I was effectuating changes there and being the only Black woman in that courtroom, knocking out not guilties. So that's a great outlet. Those are the type of outlets that I need. And with regard to Lancaster, if a community leader can host something there, or a family can do a meet and greet and let everyone know that they can meet me at their home. That's one of the things that also is really important, the meet and greets, so people can get connected. I will go out to Lancaster and Palmdale.
My cousin in Palmdale is the vice president of their senior citizens association, and they already have a place where they meet and they do Juneteenth and everything else. So that's who would be in touch with over there.
Yes, and I love it in person. I'll be
Oh,
there.
oh,
I
you
check
will,
could travel
right?
because I could be placed anywhere in LA County for as a judge. So I think that's very important that I have a connection out there so they can know and get more engaged. Because sometimes people even forget that Lancaster and Palmdale are part of LA County. I'm like, no, that's
Yeah,
LA County
yeah,
also.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
Greg had a
thank you.
before Ross, before I bring you on, Greg had a question. Renee, thank you for that. Greg had a question about, can Orange County voters vote in for this? So it's strictly talk, it's LA County. You have to
Yes,
be registered in LA County.
that is correct.
Okay,
That is correct. But Orange County has a lot of influence. I had the assistant public defender of Orange County reach out to me as he saw that I was running for judge. We used to work together. So just those
wonderful.
connections, because we can
Yes,
never limit ourselves. We don't,
yes.
if LA County, there's Orange County and Los Angeles County are connected in the sense that we may have a connection within the county.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no
Ross,
offense to Orange
okay.
County, uh, Miss Renee. It's just a matter of I think that the judge should live in the county where they preside. I
Mhm.
apologize.
Good stuff. Keeping it straight, Ross.
Thank you very
It's
much.
me. Okay, so first, my first comment is, Rhonda know that we I support her because she's a Sora, first of all,
Mhm.
and then my thing is the one of the things with the judges is that they don't have a platform, and they're relying upon the social media and how much money they got to
Community.
put those signs out there because
Right.
people don't know them. But Emma and I were fortunate enough to have Rhonda have our at our town hall meetings. Rhonda came not only to the judges when she came before then to let us know she was coming and help me to get judges to come because this is the type of forum we need to have. We need to have more of them, and I was thinking and going into the November that we would do that to have more judge forums because we had a good participation because people do not know about judges and they curious, but there's never a platform where they can come
Correct.
in person. And so I think we're going to look as we go in November to talk about those that are in the runoff. In the runoff, I'm sorry you didn't win outright, but I know you're going to be in there because this is a campaigning sister that's going to tell those stories and one that when you hear
It
her
resonates.
and hear the rest of them, you need to hear what they're saying. I think that's where they're going to get the votes. So as we look to have more of these type of forums that people can meet, I think it's what the community want because this is the one uh, uh, area that people don't get to know that they don't get to know. They just get to see the signs and these other things. So I just wanted to say, welcome, Rhonda, and know that we're going to with our town halls, we're going to look at judges more and have because we're going to start earlier first of all. But then we're going to do that and invite to have these platforms where you saw what we had. The judges they came out by seats. Patty Titus led it, was the moderator, and they got to tell us what they stand for. And I think it was a good forum, and I think it helped a lot of those people that was on that forum. So I just wanted to make a comment, no question, but just a comment. Thank you.
That's excellent,
That
Ross.
forum
Thank you
was
very much. And again, Rhonda, speaking for the Divine Nine family, that's a huge constituency that should be able to support and get the word out and host events that will bring in age appropriate voters. And so again, I applaud you, Ross, for making that mention again.
do I
Um,
have a volunteer for the link? Because it's very hard to reach out to everyone. So that's one of the things that the campaign does need. If someone who believes they have access immediately to be able to go to the Panhellenic Council, and that'd be great.
it's
That
you
is
know
one
it's
of
a
the things.
it's a little bit different here in that if my contention would be you send correspondence to the top of the house, right? You
Yes.
send it to the chapter presidents, And then
Yes.
that way they can decide as a chapter what they're going to do. And then that keeps it from you, one correspondence going to all of those chapter presidents. And then
Yes.
that way they can figure out how they'll plug in.
Yes. And
There
then
was
every
Well,
another,
you know,
follow-up.
though, but Robin, for the Divine Nine or definitely in Deltas, they tend to say that, it's only our social action part piece but that we're not political.
I get that.
However,
I
but
get that.
however, based on what you were saying, even like Sherilyn from the first district was a Delta, and we actually had after our meeting, after LA alum meeting, we allowed her to have a town hall there, and so I think you'll get those kind of support, and like you're saying, it's it's there where you can get in, you get to the top, the head of the house, and then eventually to get to the Panhellenic, where you got them all right there because they do support, and each one of them have this, but it's a matter of how you get in there. And one of the things that Patty was saying after the thing, she said it was 4 Soros that was running for a judge, that was running for judge that came to the town hall, and so Patty said she was surprised that nobody in there mentioned that they were Delta, that they were a Delta, just to say, I'm a Delta, da da da. And she was saying when she ran, she said she wore red, and that was one of the things that she was saying about that she promoted that with her campaign. But we as sororities, we can't, and fraternities, you can't be political, but you can do some things that are definitely very, very supportive of a
Well,
of a
the
of a
thing
person.
is I'm not asking anybody to be political. I'm just asking them to, they have a social impact committee, right? This is social
Yes,
impact,
that's what it
right?
is.
This is voter
That's what it is.
education. That's from 19 whatever, when all of this stuff got started. This is why it got started, is to
Right.
get people activated and to operate in community to vote for our benefit. So I appreciate what you're saying, Roz, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of us have gotten away from what the original premise was for creating these fraternities and sororities. No question about it. And then we go into this bucket of we're going to be politically correct. Well, I'm of the ill that if they want to, I'm not saying be an illegal. I'm never saying be an illegal, but I'm also saying get to that line. Don't cross the line, but get to that line to get something done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, there's another question in here that Crystal put in. Rhonda, are you on Act Blue? That we make recurring donations. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with Act Blue?
I am.
Okay, good, good,
I
good.
am.
So
Okay.
how do we get to that? Because I do support a number of candidates monthly or weekly. Actually, some of them I will support weekly. So I'd like to add you to that particular roster of mines that I do.
Okay, so on my social media page, Rhonda Haymon 4, I'm a 4
Mm-hmm.
judge. There's a
Mm-hmm.
link right
Okay.
above in my profile, my bio, that you can um, tap to obtain my ActBlue.
Okay, I will definitely do that. Also,
Thank you.
I'm with a tennis program and we're having a major event on the 20th of June celebrating Dr. King. There's a relationship between the US Tennis Association and Dr. King. Dr. King's family is committing to 1 million service hours by the time he turns 100. And
Wow.
so the USTA has committed to 400 of those service hours. And so all of our tennis associations and national junior tennis leagues are having events in that. So we're doing outreach right now. We'd love to have you come by and just meet the kids. It's a fun thing for the kids, but to also talk about unity of all of our tennis youth programs and coming together to support what's important, which is our kids. So especially for children of color, and we're pretty diverse. If there's an issue going to take place, it's going to take place with one of them. And they get into courtrooms, and as you say, there's no one that looks like them that represents them, and they don't understand them. And so I think this is a major issue for those of us that are parents and those of us that work with our youth of today. Our Black kids are always in danger of being sent to prison. That's the start of the process. And so we would definitely love to have you come out and visit us, and then just come out and say hello to you, everyone. And I also put in the chat earlier as well. So, and we all know this. This is why Emma and Roz put so much effort into the judges. Usually, what happens, and this ballot was rough, man, because I think I'm pretty savvy at this stuff, and it took me a while to decipher. I had to call Emma finally, like, okay, Lemon, you got to help me on this one, girl. So the judges are usually somewhere. As Greg said, you just click, 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 or you ignore. And if you guys look at the results, there were over 1.3 million people that voted. And look at the results of who voted and who did not vote for judges. It tells you right there. And for Rhonda, for you guys only get the 700 and there was 1.3, then where did the other 300,000 people go?
Well, about 2.27 people voted by way of ballot or at their local. So in my race, though, 1.9 voted.
Okay. Oh,
So,
with the
and
total.
also, and then Child Balbuena, I think his was close to 2.0 because he had the issue of the judge who has some early signs of dementia and couldn't perform the job. But so those two elections, they're voting. There's a war. But the key is that the lack of information on the judges, I think, is intentional because they don't want you to
Yes.
feel comfortable
Yeah.
voting for the judges so that they can select who they want. So that's why it's so important. That's why I'm telling you, when the judge held me in contempt, I said, I've got to do something with this. Oh, and by the way, the state bar told the judge to go away and that I had not done anything wrong, and they closed the case because I hadn't. So, but that's the misuse of power, and that's why we have to shift power into the hands of the right people. And so that starts by informing our community about the importance of the judges. And I'm doing it. And Miss Roz and the it's not
The
realtor.
realtors.
Realtors.
Consolidated
That's right. I
realtors.
learned something new coming there about the history of that organization. I said, see, that's why you have to get out more. So yes, hosting those events is critical. And that is so important. And I want to thank you guys for doing those things. We need that. It's highly important.
Oops,
Now, would you
Greg?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak real quick. It kind of a topic before on the I'm an alpha, and I can't speak for the other organizations, but I know that we're unable to endorse any candidate directly because of the 501c3 status. So we do a lot of voter information
That's it.
and bringing people there, but we can't really, endorse
That makes
or
sense.
any individual candidate. So that may be sometimes a barrier in getting some of the other, I believe, fraternities and sororities, because it's the same tax code, the 501c3, that gives that. The same thing with churches; they can't really.
And the same thing with nonprofits. That's why we have the community briefing, so I can say what I want when I want it.
That's right. That's right. So, Rhonda, what I'd like to ask is your 30-second commercial, because we got to wrap up. And then Stephen will join in to let us know who we have for next week. And then Crystal will close us out. How about that? So,
that's your
Rhonda, you're up for
commercial.
your 30-second commercial.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone. And my campaign is modeled on Let the Healing Begin. And it begins with judges having a direct connection to the community. Because every decision that they make, when I represented a man around the corner from me facing life in prison, I was traumatized because I'm like, this is my neighbor. What if I do this? It put an extra pressure on me to make sure that everything was done because it was my direct neighbor. And LA County is large, but we need judges who reflect our values and understand our community. And I've done that. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support in my candidacy for judge. And when I tell you, you will not be let down. This is the purpose for which God has placed me here for, and the mission shall be carried out. Thank you. Let the healing begin.
All right. Okay, Stephen, who is here? Rhonda, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, we should have
Truly.
had you before we voted, but we're gonna make sure you get it. We're gonna make sure you have a whole different outcome
Get
in
to the finish
November.
line.
Yes.
All right, Stephen.
What a great presentation. Again, on behalf of all of us, thank you for
Thank
your insightful comments about what goes on being a judge in LA County. Well, next week, with an emphasis on LA, we have Yvonne Farrell, who's the Director of Arts at the City of LA Department of Culture and Affairs. She handles Lambert Park and some of the other cultural projects here in the City of Angels. So if you like today's segment, wow, wait till next Thursday at 11 o'clock.
Right. Good.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. For everyone that's here, I saw Russell here a little while ago. He loves Black excellence, so I'm sure he had a fantastic time today. He just jumped off, and everyone else that is here. Rhonda, anytime as we're getting closer to, we can have you back again. I have a couple other podcasts and have another podcast. You want to come on there? You got 2 whole hours to talk about what you do over there. So I can invite you over there as well. And we are pleased to have you come in and explain it to us because, again, the judges it's a scary thing for people. For anytime anyone has to come up against an attorney, with an attorney, or go to court. So thank you for humanizing that and making us feel that we have a friend in the court system. And right now, guys, with the head of the administration screaming that California's election was corrupt and rigged, it tells you so much of how powerful we really, really are, because they know who was doing a lot of the voting here in the state of California. So that in itself is an incentive. There's somebody trying to stop me from doing something. Oh man, I'm coming like a train now. So so they're trying to stop us. So that means we got to come like a train. And I'm gonna close out. I saw something yesterday there was a law in New Orleans that was made that Black women were so incredibly beautiful during that time, and no matter what they did with their hair or their clothes, the white women were not happy with that. And so what they did was it caused a law to be made that Black women could not be in public without their hair coverings, and because they could not be, so to diminish them. And to indicate that they were, even if they were free, they were still part of the slave servitude grouping of people. So what did the Black women do? Man, they came out with some headdresses that's just leveled some folks. I'll put before we end, I'll put the link in the chat, but they showed that it doesn't matter whether we cover our hair or we wear a burlap sack. We are who we are, and we rise, and we're beautiful. And so that I just wanted to let you guys know that they're always going to put laws in place to stop us. So we're not going to let that happen. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week with Yvonne. And anytime you want to come back, welcome back. You're welcome here. This is your platform. That is what the community briefing is about.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, everyone. So
that was good, Rhonda.
Technically, the show is over, but those
stick around for the after party. Shut down
the after party. So I'm gonna
shut off the
shut